Welcome back, and this is the third video on the topic of balancing the forces you put out into the universe to get the life you desire and feel the way you've always wanted to feel all the time. It's an important topic, which is why I'm giving it so much airtime. I know I said that I was going to cover judgment in a later module, and I will. There will be an entire video series on the topic, but I'm also going to touch on it here in this video because it has such a powerful impact and is something that has tripped me up and is actually something I still work on today, right? In a nutshell, judging other people and things and situations causes a disruption in the balance that can come back to bite you in the butt. I'm telling you, I know this from experience, right? I know it's hard to hear, and your programmed mind's going to argue with you, but energetically, there are no such thing as good and bad people. There are only those who work with the laws of nature and work against the laws of nature. Of course, there are always going to be situations and events that actually deserve our judgment, especially from a human perspective. But, and this is a very strong but, ask yourself if you truly want to be the one to judge them, because judgment always comes with its own set of balancing forces. But if someone personally hurts you, it's likely that they have disrupted the balance. In this case, you judging them is less likely to upset the balance. In fact, if you take necessary and reasonable actions to correct the wrong that was done, you may actually be the instrument the universe is using to restore balance. However, if it was not you who was personally injured, your judgment may backfire. Let me explain. Since you're not a direct participant in the injury, you cannot know the true motives of those involved, right? You don't have complete information on motives. You don't know why one person acted one way against another. You don't have complete information. In this case, your judgment can backfire. Judging others creates a negative energy to be put out into the universe. My basic advice here is don't judge others and don't judge yourself. Also, don't have contempt for others. I had to learn this. I used to feel judgment and contempt for others, especially when I belonged to the church, which encourages contempt, especially for sinners, right? Wow, what a negative and horrible road that was, and it felt absolutely awful in my body to hold judgment against certain groups of people, or against people who did things or acted in a way that was against the rules of the church, so to speak. So, just so you know, I left the church a long time ago, probably 10 or 11 years ago when I started my awakening, so I don't subscribe to that anymore. Releasing all that judgment, it totally freed me. It freed me to feel love for everyone, every group, every person. Contempt and judgment brings a disruption of balance. Say, for example, that someone you know judges single moms, believing that maybe they must have been bad partners or they're probably not good moms or whatever. I know there are people who judge single moms because I've been a single mom. I even saw a coworker one day wear this shirt that had a picture of strippers pole dancing that read, "I support single moms." What an ass he was, but totally there are people out there that judge single moms. Anyways, that kind of hate or contempt against a group or a person puts a lot of negative energy out into the field, and the field will balance that shit right out. What could end up happening is if someone judges like this, they could someday find themselves in the position of a single mom or a single dad or something similar, and they attract that energy towards them, right? The universe totally has a way of restoring balance and returning your energies, so be super mindful of the energy that you're putting out there. Take a serious look at the people or things that you judge in your life. Even be careful not to judge those that are judging you. All judgment does is radiate negative energy. It's a hard lesson and one I had to learn myself. Before my awakening, I would never have given a second thought to judging another person. But before my awakening, I was also an unhappy hot mess who could not understand the root of my life and why I was so unhappy. So there's that. Today, I'm not a better person than the person I was before. In fact, I do not judge the person I was before. I don't judge her because she did not know. She was a person like every other person here on the planet Earth, knowing and learning how the universe is working, right? What I am, however, is a happier and more joyful person. I feel like I found the keys to the kingdom, you guys, because I have. Now I want to touch on a topic that is similar to judgment, and that is feeling superior or inferior and how that operates on an energetic level. Feeling superior to someone or inferior to others is a form of comparison, and it always disrupts the balance. Whether we're judging ourselves or another person as better or worse than someone else, either way, imbalance is created and negative energy is put out into the field. And the fruits of that are, as you know, you will be attracting less favorable timelines if you're putting out that negative energy, right? So some people use comparison to others as a way to establish their own worth, as in, look what I have done that others have not. The strong desire to prove yourself to others, your own worth, it creates an imbalance in the field. The universe will balance this out, most likely by sending a situation that is humbling to that person, or somehow some other way balancing it out. Acting superior and trying to prove your worth is one side of the coin. On the other side of the coin, we have belittling yourself and belittling your own worth, right? Both of these cause a disruption in the balance of energy. The size of the imbalance that you create depends on how strongly you act to prove your worth, or to the extent that you deny and belittle your own worth. The reality is that we are all worthy energetically. We're all equally worthy, which is infinitely worthy. Every single one of us is created by source energy. So therefore we are all worthy equally and infinitely. If someone has a belief that they are more worthy or less worthy, they're totally out of balance with the views of the universe and out of balance with what the higher self believes about them. So many of you are students of Abraham Hicks, right? If you're a student of Abraham Hicks, you might know that when you are out of balance, Abraham Hicks would say you are out of alignment with what your source and your higher self know to be true. You're out of alignment with your true worth and the true reality. A fixation on your own shortcomings or the desire to prove your worth and superiority are actually two sides of the same coin, and they have the same energetic consequence. We've covered a few techniques for changing your thoughts and programming related to what you feel about yourself and your shortcomings. I recommend that if you feel some sort of inferiority, you go back to the first video in this module 3 for the best tool I have for rooting out these feelings. In later modules, we're going to cover other techniques for dealing with those thoughts, beliefs, and feelings so you can be in balance and therefore manifest and magnetize those timelines that you want to yourself. But one small technique I can offer, if you have some aspects you believe to be shortcomings, is this. Rather than fighting your perceived imperfections or trying to fight against them, compensate them with other qualities that you like that you do have. For example, being charming or funny can compensate if you feel that you lack the physical looks that you want. Historically, self-confidence also compensates for a perceived lack of looks. And I have seen this play out time and time again. Just about everyone knows someone who's objectively less physically attractive, but who's very popular and very successful in attracting people. Everyone knows someone like this, right? If your perceived flaw is that you're not a good communicator, for example, you can compensate with being a good listener. Being a good listener is a precious quality, and if someone is confiding in you, they will find you priceless. When you let go of your perceived weaknesses and shortcomings and embrace your talents, like the shy person who is a good listener, you will start to notice that people and positive events will start to be more attracted to you. This is the universe working in your favor because you replace something that you perceived as wrong with you for some trait that you view as positive, and that replaced the negative energy for positive energy. Delving into the traits that you believe are your positive traits is being more authentic also. It's being more true to who you really are. This authenticity is so attractive and radiates positive energy. Can you see how that contrasts with the energy of trying to change what you believe is wrong with yourself or trying to hide it? I have one embodiment exercise that I want you to do here. Get out your journal and write 3 characteristics about yourself that you don't like about yourself. Now turn those around and write 3 characteristics about yourself that you can replace those perceived flaws with. And I'm going to give you an example from myself and my journaling. For example, if you believe that you're shy, you can replace that with being a good listener. That was the example I got above. But I want to share with you a few examples from my own life that I journaled on earlier. I have this perceived shortcoming, and I've talked about it before. This is a limiting belief, if you will. And this belief is that I am too old for Instagram, right? I'm only 46, but it's a limiting belief I have been working through, right? So what can I replace this limiting belief with? What strength do I have? What characteristic trait do I have that I can replace this belief with? Here's what I came up with, and I think is solid gold, guys. My new belief that I'm going to replace that belief with is I have a lot of life experience, which leads to a lot of wisdom that I can share with others, right? I have been through a lot in my life, ups and downs, the awakening and the healing, the being a single mom, and then finding the love of my life, and so much more. Sure, I'm older, But I'm replacing that with standing in my experience and my wisdom and what I have to offer the world. Another example. Another shortcoming I have is that I am not the most tech-savvy person in the world. You may have noticed from these videos or wherever when me making my reels, but it's the truth. What can I replace that with? I think I came up with a good one. I may not be tech-savvy, but I can get help from others with that because I do not have, but because something that I do have is a lot of love to give and share. And the world needs that too. So the world needs what I have to offer, despite the fact that I am not tech-savvy. I want you to get out your journal here and do the embodiment exercise after this video and follow the example. But before I complete this video, I have a few other things I would like to say. I really want to talk about authenticity, being who you really are, living in your own code, so to speak. When you have perceived flaws, you often feel this way because you are comparing yourself to someone else who does not have this flaw. When you compare yourself unfavorably, you might be tempted to try and imitate others who do not have the same perceived flaw that you have, right? For the record, I do not think that we are flawed. We are unique, not flawed. We are not all meant to be the same, right? But if you try and imitate others who do not have the same flaw that you believe you have, you're not being true to yourself. You're being inauthentic, actually. We all have our own path, our own journey, and yours is uniquely different from the person you're attempted to copy. You're not meant to be that person. You're meant to be your own person. Trying to copy them takes you off your path. It takes you away from what makes you special. In just about any situation, the person who is the leader or the person who everybody likes or think is cool is almost invariably the person who is the most authentic and true to themselves. You can be that person. And heck, I'm even saying this to myself as well, because this is something I am still embodying in my own life, is that being true to who I really am, right? Being that cool person means being the person who feels comfortable not taking others' advice on how they should act or what they should do, right? Being that authentic person who lives by their own rules means being a person who has no need to imitate anyone else because they have a high opinion of themselves. That is who I want to be. And who I want most to embody is being my true self, right? And that is a path of discovery that lasts your whole life and is always changing and can be fun and exciting if you flow with it and love and accept who you really are without caring what others think. This is about being completely unbothered and in love with yourself. And we can get there. I promise. I will do what's in my power to teach you how to get to that place. That's all for now, beautiful souls. Watch out for the next video. It's an energy work video that will help you clear your third eye and prepare you to read from your third eye to see yourself and others with greater clarity. So don't miss it. See you in the next one. Bye, babe.